Welcome, everybody. I hope you are all in good health and that you're watching the third edition of FACTT. I believe some of you already know that this project started 3 years ago. Initially, the idea was just Lisbon, New York, but of course, there's so many uh, good artists and there's so much creativity around the world that this festival turned into something bigger, and now we're in Mexico, in Canada, in Greece, in Italy, and all over the world. And it's because of you that are accompanying our work uh, that we do this. So we thank you very much for spending it uh, field. But we have beautiful performance, and I will now ask Marta to explain a little bit more about the project, about the title of this year, Improbable Times, which I think is self-explanatory, by the way. But Marta will let you know. And thank you for the work of everybody that put this moment together. It's a lot of work. I know it looks easy when we just click a link and everybody shows up and it's all beautiful. But thank you to everybody that worked on this and the artists that accepted to participate in this challenge. So, Marta, I give it back to you.
Thank you, Anna. Thank you very much for your support and your encouragement. It has been there since the beginning. You are our promoter and you were the person who invited us to do this together. I extended the invitation to our partners and I'm very glad that they accepted and that we've been going on this journey of growing over the last few years. So welcome to FACTT 2021. I am very happy to be here. It is an improbable time, and more than anything, these are exceptional times. So FACTT has been presential every year until now, but this year, of course, this change in FACTT is actually to hope and to think about the future and how culture can transform itself and people's lives. So Improbable Times is now a hybrid version of FACTT, much more or in a more continuous way. So FACTT starts today and it will continue for a whole year, FACTT 2021. We'll see about the next one. And just to let you know, we have a series of events happening. The first one is today, and it's these two live performances, one from our partners in Toronto. It's curated by Roberta Buyani and Joel Ong, and Roberta will introduce the performance itself. And the second performance will be by our partners in Mexico. It's curated by Arte Mais Ciencia, Lena Ortega, Minerva, and Maria Antonia, and they are and Lena is going to introduce the performance by Mexico. At the very end, there's going to be a Q&A session, and in our Facebook page, you're very welcome to start asking the questions during the performances. They will only be answered at the very end, but we can receive them at any moment during the performance. So you can start asking them from the very beginning. Please let me introduce you to all of our partners. So FACTT is promoted by Art Institute, Cultivamos Cultura, and Ectopia in Portugal are Art Institute's partners from the beginning. And also, actually, from the beginning, we've had the School of Visual Arts with Suzanne Anker, our curator from New York, our partners in Toronto with Roberta, and later on, Joel joined the gang with University of Toronto, Arts High Salon, and now also, of course, York University, Sensorium, and Toronto Design. We've had always from the very beginning our wonderful support from Mexico as well with Arte Mais Ciencia, UNAM, Bioscénica, and they've been a partner of FACTT from the very beginning. And lately, we've had two more partners. This year, we have Greece with Ionian University and InArt Lab, and also Joe Wei with the Central Academy of Fine Arts from Beijing. Joe unfortunately cannot be here with us, nor could Maria Antonia or Suzanne. Joe is probably sleeping right now because it's 4 o'clock in the morning in Beijing, and we don't resent her for being sleeping. So every partner will have different events. The website, which you see on our event page, and if you don't see it, I'll put it soon in the comments, is in the Art Institute website. And there will be news every month. There will be new events coming every month, new content into this platform. New artworks are being added every month, and every event that we curate in each month will appear eventually during that month on the website. So please keep visiting, and you will find more and more interesting things to look at. We want to challenge the idea of what art can be in terms of reaching, in terms of being experienced. What is an artwork nowadays, and how can we bring it to more and more people, and how can we make it a constant presence in our lives when we're all apart physically? And this is our main question for this year. So thank you very much. I hope you enjoy our evening, and I hope you look forward, as I do, to all of the events that FACTT will bring me and you during the whole year.
Good afternoon and good evening for those people who are reaching us from Europe and other places far east. My name is Roberta Buiani, and I'm the artistic director of the Artsci Salon, which is a Canadian art and science organization based in Toronto, Turtle Island. I join you from the territory of the Huron-Wendat and Petun First Nations, the Seneca, and the Mississaugas of the Credit River. Tonight, I am presenting this performance with my colleague Joel Ong, Ambience Latency, which is performed by Joel Ong, Michael Palumbo, and Kavi. The performance, just to say a few words, is one of a series of experiments with sound and video content that is developed through a focus on the topographies and networks through which these flow. The project explores processes of information sharing, real-time performance, and network communication protocols that contribute to the sustenance of our digital communities, shared experiences, and telematic intimacies. In this particular performance, our performers delay times generated by pinging, and each performer's computers are harvested as a compositional parameter for both the visual and sounds.
¿Estoy lista? No, porque no me has dicho que la prenda. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to the third sonorous body performance. This is a collaboratory work. This is with and between the others. In this complicated moment in which it would seem that our existence unfolds in front of the screen, confined to the frame of the black mirror, it becomes urgent to challenge the limits and scopes of digital life and rethink the way in which we inhabit the other and our own subjectivity. Third Sonorous Body seeks to open possibilities to experiment other ways of being or corporeality through telematic media, to simultaneously find ourselves in other physical, sonorous, and emotional places. The aim is to produce approaches with other people and other entities, which are impossible to occur physically at this moment, but that can happen through exercises of reinterpretation and intervention of places and bodies. In order for you to better enjoy this experience, we will make some suggestions. We invite you to wear headphones to make the experience more immersive and intimate. Don't put them on just yet, but leave them nearby. Have a glass of water to drink near you. Please feel free to get those items if you wish. I will wait here for you. Before you sit down and settle into your place, turn off the lights or keep a very dim light, perhaps just a backlight. Please feel free to change the lighting of your surroundings. I will wait here for you again. Please be seated. Let's get started.
Let's pay attention to the position of our body. I invite you to sit without crossing your legs. Place them both in a comfortable position in front of you, bent or semi-stretched. Observe your legs. Notice the sensation of your feet being in contact with the earth. You can wiggle your toes a little bit. Caress the surface beneath them. Now, shift your attention and feel the weight of your body on the chair. What parts of your body are in contact with the object that is supporting your weight? How does the weight of your hips and bottom feel on the chair? Where are your hands? Are they relaxed? If not, relax your hands and feel the gravity exerted on them. Now that we have paid attention to our body, let us notice our breathing and its rhythm of your body. I invite you to integrate your breathing to the movement of your arms, going up with every inhalation and going down upwards a couple more times. Keep the feeling of strength in your back. Now, interlace the fingers of your hands and, without letting go, turn your palms outwards and stretch your arms in front of you. Allow your back to curl. Breathe. Now, releasing the hands, bring the arms up and back, allowing your back to become an arch. With your arm stretched straight up, move the back and waist freely, as if just waking up. You can make small circles in both directions or stretch diagonally. Make a final stretch upwards, allowing your bones to rearrange themselves. Enjoy. Inhale deeply and keep that sensation of growing from your spine. Release the arms and relax them over your legs. Now, gently move your head from side to side. Bring the ears towards the shoulders in a soft rocking motion. Now you can stop the movement and lengthen your neck. Look behind the left shoulder and then behind the right one. Turn your head and bring out the chest a little bit. Allow that movement to grow and move your whole spine. Become a spiral. Now you can return your head and torso to their center. Inhale deeply as you exhale. Bring the chin down to the chest. In that position, tilt your head side to side as if saying no. From there, gently begin swinging your head side to side. Feel its weight. Lengthen your neck in a pendular movement. Allow the range of motion to become wider and wider until it becomes a full circle. Make a couple of circles to one side and then a couple to the other. Allow them to become wider each time. Finish the movement with your chin on your chest. Put your hands on the back of the neck and breathe. Bring your head down and use your hands to further stretch the neck and your whole nervous system. As you go deeper and lower, you can feel the stretch all the way down to the base of the hips. Use your hands to help you curl into yourself. Become a snail. Now, you can slowly return to your center and breathe once more, integrating the arms. Hold your breath for a few seconds, and with a deep exhalation, release. Now, take your glass of water. Holding it with both hands, close your eyes and drink very slowly. Feel its vitality running through you. Enjoy this water. We are water as well. Listen to it as it enters your body. Listen to it actively. Now you can put your glass down. Now we invite you to put on your headphones and walk with us. Let's start by breathing in the color violet.
Yes.
At least as much as I did. This was an amazing experience for me. Thank you of your time, for your effort, for your resistance and endurance in continuing to work and making sure that we do reach the public as much as possible. I forgot to mention, and I'm very sorry, I forgot to mention that Dalila Onoratou is the curator from Greece. And I think when I was introducing the partners, I forgot to mention her. And I'm sorry for that. I think it's just because she's already a little bit of an extension to me, but it shouldn't happen. I really enjoyed these. I know we're going to have a lot of fun during the year working together and making the FACTT platform, the website, and the events that we organize in multiple types of spaces. An exciting thing to do together. It's a pleasure to work with you as always. I want to know everything about it. So I know a little bit of the performance that Mexico did. I was involved somewhat in its inception, but I don't know anything or more than what they have on the website from Toronto and Joel and Michael and Kavi. Could you please extend a little bit more?
Hi guys. Sorry, just quickly, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, well, thanks for having us again. And, by means of a quick introduction, I guess I'm Joel. I teach at York University. Michael, Colombo, and Kavi. They are both PhD students in digital media, and they're great friends and great collaborators as well. So, I perhaps I can give a little bit about what the piece is about generally, and then they can go into what they were doing specifically. I'm sure you want to know what the visuals and Michael were doing as well, all his gadgets behind him. Void ambience actually was birthed when Roberto started talking about us entering these spaces that were emptied out because of COVID. And in particular, it was Fields Institute. That was one of the places we played in, and we were interested in thinking about the acoustic structure, the architecture of that building itself. And so we went in there with microphones and all sorts of stuff that would resonate the building itself, as opposed to just playing sound for a particular listener. We wanted it to be impacted or filtered through the building itself. That's was the main idea. And from there, we started thinking, if part of. And so we started thinking about the communication networks, and we started thinking about latency, which is for most communication between us nowadays, it's kind of a setback. You don't want to have this jarring latency, so you want to be able to have a clear and smooth stream. So we started thinking if we could have an undergoing routine that was pinging each other's computers, we would be able to tell what the delay times were, effectively what the latency was between each of our computers, and we'll be able to compose with that. So for me, about the impulse response of a room, this is taking an impulse response of the internet space we're in, and that reverb constructed in real time of the delays that are coming in between us. So I'll stop my introduction. I'll turn it over to Michael or Kavi. You can decide.
Paper, rock, scissors, or I guess I'm on mic. And can you hear me? Okay. Okay, great. As Joel was saying, we were really interested in the augmenting the aesthetics of the network, right? And so we have this software that's running to go there and then come back, and it's doing this every second, and then passing these latency times to each of our machines, so that we can then take that data and use it for something. So in my case, and Kavi's was 45, and mine was, say, 20. that's sort of the interval of the clock that's being generated. And then I had clock dividers as well, so that it was creating nice polyrhythms within that. So that's part one. Part two is that within this software we also have the ability to send each other data. So I was analyzing, like, very, very sort of simple analysis of some of the signals that I was generating and passing these on to Kavi, who was then mapping them into her visuals. And one of the things I was also sending, just because I thought it would be cute to do so, I took Joel's latency time and created a clock from that and also sent that to Kavi. So it creates, perhaps it creates some interesting feedback loops that are contingent on, and I think perhaps putting a spotlight on, well, certainly quality of service with our internet connections, right, which could be an accessibility thing, right? I love that we use Zoom because I think it is a system that is so ubiquitous, so most people already know how to use it. So there's that aspect to it, right? So similarly, if you're on a commodity internet connection, your latency probably is going to be a lot longer. But for myself, I'm just more interested in playing with that compositionally than necessarily obscuring it or hiding it or, making excuses or apologizing for it, especially. So yeah, I think maybe I can, maybe I'll stop there. I can't wait to hear what Kavi has to say. So.
Hello, can you hear me? Okay, wonderful. So my part was creating the visuals, and actually thinking about this right now, I realized that I'm not only working with a map, which is our localized place, which is Toronto. So I took a snippet of like Canadian map, and I plotted our locations as these hot spots. But actually thinking about it right now I would like to share a little bit my process, because even though you could see only one square coming out of my sort of creation system, the way I work is I work in a environment where I take a lot of boxes and then I connect them together, and it's a touch designer environment. And so there is actually multiple networks and multiple maps happening simultaneously. So one is the visual physical map that you can see. The overlaid layer is those dots, and the dots respond to our individual locations, and they are also driven by a lot of data shared amongst us, and they've been sort of like called into creating different like visual and geometry deformation effects. But there is also another map and network which is within my computer that I connect these different parameters, and I'm also twisting and turning knobs with this instrument. So in a way, I feel that I'm equally playing visuals like the musicians would do with their musical instruments. To me, the visual is very similar in the quality to sound. And together, we have this sort of interesting and unique moment of presence that is not very present. It's not really real time, but it's this new kind of cross-communication internet time. And I think what we really wanted to celebrate and kind of expose these kind of hidden, unknown connections that we rely on right now. And visually, I didn't want to sort of create too much complex information, and I was really sort of trying to kind of it again would collapse. And to me, that was very interesting, unexpected moments that I couldn't create myself, but it was really driven and affected by network and my collaborators. So thank you, and I hope you will enjoyed it.
Well, I did, definitely. Thank you, Kavi. And it was much better to understand a little bit behind it, or a little bit more behind it. It works beautifully, at least for me. I would also like to ask a similar question to the people in Mexico from El Tercer Cuerpo, Sonoro, because I was there a little bit at the beginning of this project, and I enjoyed witnessing its beginning, and I'm sure people would like to know how you all came to develop this.
Well, thank you, Marta. I can start if that's okay with the rest of the group. So we developed this project during the MFT labs, and one of our big questions, as I'm sure has been a question for many people, is how do we come across the screen? You know, it seems that our existence is just being confined to this black mirror, and you know, we have lost sense of our bodily closeness of being together. So that was one of our first questions. And then we were talking between all of us, and we were inspired, but by this sort of singing, you know, in which two people, they sing and they kind of put their pitch of the tone of their voice in another pitch. And so a third sound develops from that slightly off tune pitch. And so we thought, we took that as inspiration. And what we did is that we did several field recordings and photographs of liminal spaces. Like, I think liminality was one of our main concepts, you know, trying to find this edge of things and this thirdness appearing. And so what we did is that we made field recordings of liminal spaces in Mexico, and we just jointly created, we tried to inhabit the other's spaces and sounds. So a reappropriation of what others had recorded or had seen, that's basically what we did. And it was also really important for us to create this sort of, what we did, you know, before we to come in touch with our own. Minerva or Vanya, who are here, or Euridice would like to add something to what I just said.
Well, yes, I think it was a really rich and powerful and intense process because we work in distance and we try to share our own investigation of those spaces and create another space in the idea of the imagination. I think this kind of collaboration are done with a lot of enthusiasm, but also with a lot of experience as a background. But the most important is the affective, no, is the love we have, the one with the others, and the love of what we can do together. So we try to put a lot of different methodologies that learn to breathe in a way, breathe with the other, to draw the music, no, but draw like you hear the music and what happened in your hand when you hear this music, no, how we can divide it, how we can make like scenes in all those ideas, and how we can work. So we try to make groups also, and work some ideas and then share a line crossing all the ideas. And the work was I do this, but then I give it to you, and the other person took it, and it was really open. Here everybody has a purpose with a body, you know, how we can share our body on a screen, how we can touch the other one through this mirror, this black mirror, this screen, with our intention of being together, to still feeling the other one. So that's why we realize it has to have like a ritual in the beginning. We need a little bit more of time just to assimilate. It's not in a hard.
Vanya, Euridice, would you like to say something?
Well, yes, for me, it one of the most kind of important parts of this creative process, like, was the fact that we, as Minerva said, we worked as a pendulum. So it was not just like a video piece that then they passed to us and then we made some music and just like, no, it was just like the visual part was working, and then the sound part was working, and then we exchanged information. Then from that exchange, it like something came up, and then that was the thing that was created in this moment was again like taken for like the visual and the sound part to still like configure and still like keep on working, and then again like exchange and all this like exchange moments. I think that created this tercer cuerpo sonoro, which for me is like how experienced, and that I think that the creative process itself kind of did the same. It was just like a flow from visual to sound to visual to sound. And then for me, it's also like this, as Minerva was saying, and with the enormous help of Euridice, we just like created this pre moment of relaxing and just like we're going to introduce you, to invite you to this experience. And it's at least from the sound part, it was also thought even as a kind of a walk. We even like with Lena, we made some field recordings and we were walking, and it's just like really inviting people to walk with us. And I think that was one of the most well, interesting things to me in this project.
Euridice? No. You don't want to say anything?
Propose another latitudes to interview or increase what we propose today. This tercer cuerpo sonoro from a notion to slow listening, tenderness, calm, and well-being as a process, a continuous end. And this all. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Does anybody else have a question? Do you have a question for each other? Roberta.
I was very impressed by the colors. Like I'm a very visual, although I really had a very strong perception of sound in both performances. But I was struck by the different choices of color that in the two performances we had. So we had like a very like strong red and like very like punchy colors in Toronto, and very pastel and relaxing and like more soothing colors in Mexico. So I'm wondering if anybody can say something, because it really like struck me as something very pleasant, but I was wondering if there was any choice behind it.
I think that was probably subconscious choice because I think probably a lot of people could relate to that, but personally, I've been sort of feeling kind of need for brightness and some sort of like energy and positivity and encouragement. And to me, this performance felt like the way to experience that emotionally and visually. And I think I wanted to share that the joy and kind of the very heightened senses and emotions to kind of in comparison what kind of everyday feels, because we are in isolation and not much going on in our lives. So I thought that this is my chance to scream and I think that was kind of like a protest, sort of like to deal with the emotions I'm feeling.
Do you want to go, Minerva?
Yes. Well, the idea or just if you are in between this, it's cold or it's warm, you don't know. The sensation who can give you a gradient, no, in a screen could be so subtle that you think you're looking something, but it's not that No, you already imagining things, so it's like a trigger for those kind of sensation. So that all the sensation or provocation made by sound and by those gradients who are so subtle. And well, I don't know, Lena, if you want to add something on.
Oh, I agree with you. I think it was we went for a more oniric, is it called like that, like more dreamlike palette, more in betweenness, and not really certain of anything, kind of a drift kind of sort of palette. Perhaps that's also something we needed because our environment is very loud.
And I would like to have a provocation here, because we are all here and we want to be together. Avi, Michael, and Joel are doing, and maybe in one moment in all year in the FACTT festival, we can maybe show something mixed. No, as Eurydice says, it's important to open the process and ask the others to work with us. No, so I made an invitation, inviting me myself, inviting me myself. So don't separate things. No, let's flow and let's see if we can cross those processes.
And also, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I think our projects, now that I hear both of us, we have a lot in common. You know, we're both figuring out ways of exchanging, you know, through these telematic media, what we're feeling and what we're doing, you know, in different ways. But it's all, I think we have a lot of commonness in these searches. And that was really lovely to see. And I agree with Minerva. We'd like to invite ourselves.
I think that was resonate a lot. Yeah.
Well, sorry. I think that was my initial request. I really wanted the two teams to play together, but then everything was like so fast and furious that like we really didn't have any time. We need some slow time to reconnect. So this is the first instance. Then we will have more.
Absolutely. Absolutely. This is one of my favorite things about doing these projects and bringing people on board such events, is because they do find each other in ways that they wouldn't just by listening to each other perform. Just the fact that you rehearse together, that you try to work together to make sure that we had as smooth as possible presentation today, made sure that you connected in ways that you wouldn't just by being a spectator, which is I think one of the ways of enlarging our touch. No, like Minerva said. Thank you all again very, very much. I think for me this was a huge success. It was wonderful to watch. It was wonderful to experience. My whole body felt it, which was, I think, one of the things that you wanted us to feel. My cat was here the whole time, so I think he quite enjoyed it as well.
Yes, I'll say that your cat at one point was swatting at the overlay that you have, and the tail was going, and it was like hitting it, and it was really cute. Just wanted to say.
Yeah, he's a very performative cat somehow. Thank you again. I can't express how much I thank all of you for participating. It was a privilege to me to watch and listen and experience and feel. And I am so grateful to all of you that you were the ones who guaranteed that we had an amazing opening event for FACTT 2021. Now the race is on. We have to do more and better and enjoy ourselves even more and touch each other remotely, or as soon as possible, just hug each other because that's what we're waiting for, no?
Yeah. In the meantime, virtual hugs.
Yes. Thank you so much.